So what's going to happen, I don't know. But I think it's possible that's the return of
Christ.
Yeah. Or the lady and the whole heavenly host living with us, Jesus. That's the first time I've ever said that in my life publicly.
Chris Bledsoe has been popular in the UFO sphere for years now. He started having experiences in 2007, which began with sightings of orbs and progressed into full-on contact experiences with beings. He even claims that he was healed from Crohn's disease after one of the experiences. Supposedly, he can summon them and films them quite a bit. He believes that they're angelic beings and views the phenomenon through a religious lens. All this piqued the interest of higher-ups in the US government, DoD, CIA, NASA. He's been visited by many people associated with these agencies, and he's been on many of the popular podcasts telling his story. People seem split on their opinion of him. Some believe he was having real experiences, and some believe that he's lying for nefarious purposes. I will say that the 3-letter agency involvement instills in me some doubt, but Chris does seem genuine. Could they be manipulating him in some way without him knowing? Could he be the victim of some sort of holographic Bluebeam-esque technology? I want to talk about Bluebeam for a second. There is a guy named Serge Monast who was researching an alleged government project called Bluebeam. He states that the powers that be will try and create a new world order by breaking down existing religious beliefs and instituting a universal religion. They'll use highly sophisticated technology to falsify evidence of this new religion. Technology like holograms, lasers, and low-frequency waves that make people think they're receiving communication from God. Chris talks about a being that he calls the Lady. She told him that she's been called many names throughout the world, such as Hathor, Diana, Demeter, Isis, Hera, the Virgin Mary. Basically, she's been perceived as holy figures in many different religions throughout the world.
But later you encounter the Lady.
Right.
And she describes herself as Hathor, is that right?
Well, that was one name she used. She said she had many names. And she had been called many things throughout the world. In other words, Diana, Demeter, Isis, Hathor, Hera, the Virgin Mary, everything. She's had many names throughout history and by every culture. And the way she explained it to me helped me understand religion in a different way, how people conceive, like the Taoists or the Muslims or the Catholics or whoever only imagine God in their minds. We all do. We imagine that.
A lot of people have been coming out and saying that they believe UFOs and aliens are actually angels and demons, and they believe they're having religious experiences when they're encountering these entities. But whatever initiated the encounters with Chris seems to have taken elements of his own preconceived religious beliefs and warped these visitations into more of a universal religious experience. Sound familiar? That's right, Bluebeam. Monast even talked about every culture getting a show of sorts that align with their own religious belief. I'm not saying it's definitely something like Project Bluebeam, but it's very interesting. It's just like the lady said. These intelligences represent all the religions practiced throughout the world. If these are actually extraterrestrial or interdimensional beings, could they be displaying themselves to him in a religious context because that's how he sees the world? His family and the community he grew up in was highly religious, so if these entities were trying to get him to trust them, then that's probably the best way to do it. He also talks about a prophecy he received in a vision from the lady, in which she told him that when the star of Regulus, a blue star, appears red on the horizon at dawn, at the top of the Sphinx in Egypt, it's a sign that means humanity will be given a new knowledge. The lady said that the darkness would be exposed and the truth would be revealed. He doesn't really know what that means, but he believes that it could be the return of Christ. This ties in with him mentioning that this will all happen in April 2026. What holy day is in April? Yep, Easter. Easter is celebrated as the resurrection of Jesus, so that's interesting.
And Now I've had so many write me back, oh my God, you see they just bombed Iran, or Iran just bombed us. You were right the whole time. And I did that in 2012. And so what they did was I gave them the date of 2026 because they took that celestial event and ran it through these machines that showed that exact alignment will happen in 2026 at Easter.
What will happen?
The star will, the alignment she told me about, that the star of Regulus would be on the horizon in front of the Sphinx. At that moment, there'd be a new knowledge. Well, I had no idea if this was even possible, but these astronomers run it through the machines, and it comes out that star is going to come up on the horizon in Easter of 2026. And from that point forward, they started remote viewing the state. Government did. And now you hear it all over TV. 2026, that's the big date. 2027, that year, something's going to happen. Armageddon, you hear it all over.
His hardcore Christian background doesn't seem to have deterred him from accepting that this isn't entirely Christian in nature. It seems like he's not dead set on who he's talking to. He believes that the second coming of Jesus is soon, but I think he now sees Jesus in a different way from how he was raised. I don't even know if we could distinguish angelic beings from interdimensional entities. They both have similar characteristics, the ability to manipulate time and space, and they're both godlike to us. So it's possible that these labels are pointless. Now, I know throughout history people have claimed that they know of some big event or the second coming of Christ or whatever. Just look at 2012. And I mean, we did just bomb Iran, so Jesus could be pissed and he might be coming back to give us a talking to. It seems like Chris is saying this is going to be a gradual rollout of knowledge, so I don't think anything substantial will happen right away, but maybe. That's what all this is, just a lot of might be, maybe. If he is being controlled and manipulated by shadowy human forces, showing him an angelic being that tells him humanity will receive knowledge on Easter 2026, giving him enough attention that he's invited onto the biggest podcasts in the world as well as TV news, so he could broadcast his message to the world, and then disclosing alien life on said date, could bring some validity to the claims and trick a lot of people into thinking there are actually godlike entities controlling what's going on. I can see that being a net negative for the human race, so I hope it's not that. What do you think? Are these beings angelic, interdimensionals, or your standard run-of-the-mill extraterrestrial? Or is this just one big government experiment? Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe as it does help out the channel. Bye-bye.